and their body goes through a lot of damage during that time. Because I got so sick so young and early, I got caught much earlier in my symptoms than a lot of patients do. Like I said, though, I think if I lived somewhere, if I didn't have the right doctors all lined up, I think that I would not still be alive today. I don't think I would have had my children or any of that. So I'm very aware that I was very lucky to be in the right place at the right time when I was so ill.
So, what do you think that they should do to increase this disease awareness, or to spread diagnosis tools?
I think they should. I think they should work with pediatric doctors as well as general practitioners. I know that they, in the U.S., and I don't know how this works in other countries, but in the U.S. they added a test for newborn babies, so they can catch. I can't think of the name.
Okay.
The bubble boy was it, or I can't think of the name of it. One of the primary immune. That is so they can catch babies much younger, or they get too weak. And so the more they can do that kind of blood work and watch for that. I had my children all tested very young because we didn't know if any of them would have ended up with CVID as well. In some families, it seems to run multiple people. Other families, it's just one person. I'm the only one in mine, thankfully. And so I think that kind of knowledge is helpful.
Okay. So, you explained that you were diagnosed really well in a good way, but how was all this process? The diagnosis procedure, the tests were tedious, or they were super long to get the final diagnosis, or it was a short process?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that question.
Sorry. How was the diagnosis procedure in your case?
For me, the diagnosis, I'm sorry, I had trouble understanding, but I think that for me, I said I got diagnosed quite young. It took about, I would guess, 5 years. Because I was in Cyprus in high school and I was getting the gamma globulin shots, I believe that pushed off my diagnosis. I was getting gamma globulin pretty regularly, living in where I was. The State Department at that time believed that would help keep us from getting some of the sicknesses. So they would do that for all the State Department employees. And so I stopped doing those shots in 1985, and then I got diagnosed in 1991. And between the time I stopped doing those, I was going into college. That was when I was probably my sickest, but during that time. So I don't know when I started showing symptoms. I was always sicker than my brothers. I have 2 older brothers, and whatever milk we got as kids, I always got it worse than they did. So I really don't know how long. I just know that it kept getting worse until I got diagnosed. I kept getting more infections more often. And so I think the earlier we catch it in patients, the less long symptoms. I was lucky. My lungs are very healthy. I did not have much damage to my body prior to getting diagnosed. Some patients end up with holes in their lungs, and some have gastro issues that cause some real, sometimes permanent damage before they even get diagnosed. I didn't have any of that. I got caught at 24. I was still pretty healthy at that time, even though I was very sick. Sadly sick.
So,
there's a description of CVID patients that they're the healthiest looking sick people. They often look really good and really healthy, but they keep getting these infections all the time. But it seems to be common that you show being very healthy until you have an infection, and then kind of go up and down depending on how many infections you have.
So, finally, we would like to discuss the trends that will drive change in your patient journey over the next 5 to 10 years, and if there will be any changes, or what's your opinion on the future?
My opinion on the future, part of making the decision going to sub-Q this year was for my future. My youngest daughter has 3 more years at home, and then my husband and I want to travel. and move, and we want to do other things, and I wanted to not be stuck having to be in one location every 4 weeks for my IVIG treatment. The subcutaneous I use, I'm able to travel. It is shelf-stable, so it doesn't have to be refrigerated. And so I'm hoping that I can be more independent than I have been in the last 20 years.
Okay.
The last 20 years, I felt like I always needed to be home in time for my treatments, and I planned my life around them. I'm hoping with the sub-Q. Now, the sub-Q I do every week, so it has a bigger impact in my life right now than my IVIG was once a month for 4 hours. Yeah. Now I'm doing it 4 times a month for probably a total of 6 or 7 hours. So right now it feels like it has a bigger impact, but I'm hoping it's going to give me more independence. When I get much older, 70s or so, I don't know how I'll do. My understanding is a lot of primary immune patients should live healthier into their older lives, but, you know, all the medical stuff I've had has to have an impact. I had sinus surgery a couple of years ago, and I had diseased bone for a very long time. We think that I may have had the same sinus infection for years that the antibiotics never got rid of, and actually caused my bones and my sinuses to become very diseased, so they removed them. So I've lost a lot of my sinus area. It seems to have improved. I'm not getting infections as much. But all of that has to take a toll on my body. So I don't know if I'll live as well as some of my peers that don't have this.
And do you think that the experience for people diagnosed with PIDD would be different from your experience in 5 to 10 years?
Do I think the experience will be different? That's a good question. I think part of it has to do, one of the big concerns here in the U.S. Is insurance. My husband was in the Marines, was in the military, so they covered everything. And then before they came up with Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, there was a rule that if you had a pre-existing condition and you changed jobs, they didn't have to cover your medical care for a year. That would have wiped us out. We wouldn't have had any money. So we both have had to be very careful to make sure that we're employed by large companies with good insurance, and it costs us a lot of money. We spend a lot of our income on my medical care, and that has an impact. So if we could take some of that stress off for myself or others, especially, and like I said, I don't know how it works in you know, some countries that have more of a socialized medicine, I think it's better. But that really has a stressful impact on our family. It always has. I have to account that I still spend out of pocket of my own money, probably, at least $1,000 a year now. And so we have to account for that. That's money that I'm not spending towards my family. Added. So I think to me that's the most stressful thing. The medicine itself, the treatment itself is okay. I've done it more than half my life now, and so I got over feeling sorry for myself a long time ago about this one. So the insurance is the bigger step, and I'm sure that is for new patients when they get diagnosed.
Okay.
You know, our country right now is in a time of unsure for healthcare, and so that is easily the biggest stressor for me.
And, well, this is a different topic, but what's your opinion on digitalization? Is this going to change your interaction with your prescriber or the way you look for information about the disease?
I didn't, can you repeat that, please?
What's your opinion? Well, I suppose that you have heard a lot about digitalization and, well, everyone talks about this. But what's your opinion on the influence that could have on people diagnosed with PIDD or any rare disease?
What's the impact of
digitalization?
Okay. That's a good question. I think that one of our, we talked about the insurance and that impact, but it also has to do with how many companies are making the medicine and how much that is available. I mean, like I said, I feel very fortunate that I am where I am for the medicine. If I lived in